NEWS.MC on Monaco Info is brought to you by Monaco Legend Properties. Bringing you news on Monaco's economy, culture, sports and more. Welcome to NEWS.MC, your English rendezvous on Monaco Info. Coming up on NEWS.MC, discover past week's top stories and meet the people who make Monaco.
My name is Mark Mead Bailey. I'm the founder and co-director of De Medeville, and you are watching NEWS.MC on Monaco Info.
What's been making headline in the past week? On January the 29th, Secretary of State for Justice Samuel Vuelta Simon outlined Monaco's 2026 judicial roadmap, emphasizing transparency, institutional strengthening, and international cooperation. Key developments include the creation of a financial section within the Public Prosecutor's Office to handle complex financial crime and money laundering cases, alongside a new judicial reserve to support courts during peak periods. Vuelta Simon reaffirmed Monaco's commitment to sustainable anti-money laundering efforts and noted that the Principality's upcoming presidency of the Council of Europe's Committee of Ministers will spotlight judicial cooperation, particularly in cybercrime and child protection. He also highlighted the expanding role of Monaco's Institute for Legal Training in developing talent and promoting Monegasque legal expertise abroad. Marking the International Day of Remembrance of the victims of the Holocaust, students from across Monaco gathered at Collège Charles III for a day of reflection and learning. Organised in line with Council of Europe initiatives, the study day explored crimes against humanity, particularly the Holocaust, through legal, historical and philosophical lenses. 4 presentations guided students through the mechanisms of persecution, genocide and post-war reconstruction, aiming to foster vigilance and critical thinking. Teachers emphasized the enduring relevance of these lessons today, linking remembrance with civic responsibility. Quoting Elie Wiesel, the event reinforced a powerful message: forgetting the victims is a second death. Education remains the strongest defense against that erasure. His Serene Highness Prince Albert II continued to strengthen Monaco's ties with Italy during a 2-day visit to Ceva and Millesimo, historic towns now part of the historic Grimaldi Sites network. On January the 30th, the sovereign was warmly welcomed in Ceva, Piedmont, where he addressed the community at Teatro Marenco and unveiled a commemorative plaque formalizing the town's inclusion in the Heritage Initiative. The visit underscored Monaco's commitment to honoring its dynastic roots and fostering cross-border cultural cooperation. The following day, Prince Albert II became the first reigning head of state to visit Millesimo, a Ligurian hill town celebrated for its medieval character and historical connection to the Grimaldi family. The prince toured the Napoleonic Museum and Del Carretto Castle, ancestral home of Aurelia del Carretto, whose 13th century marriage into the Grimaldi lineage is considered a founding moment in Monaco's history. Coinciding with Market Day, the visit drew enthusiastic crowds, with local residents and school children turning out to greet the sovereign. In his remarks, Prince Albert II reflected on the deep historical bonds between Monaco and Millesimo and expressed a desire to build future cultural and economic links. The visit marked a symbolic step forward in Monaco's strategy to preserve and promote its heritage abroad. With both Ceva and Millesimo now part of the Italian Historic Grimaldi Sites network, local leaders anticipate increased tourism and visibility, reinforcing the Principality's enduring presence in the region. The 28th Monte Carlo Historic Rally launched from Port Hercule on Sunday, February the 1st, with classic cars setting off toward Valence for the concentration stage. This year's edition marks a key evolution. For the first time, regularity tests will take place on closed roads, improving safety and intensifying the competitive atmosphere. 2 average speed categories have been introduced, one more sporting, one moderate, accompanied by enhanced route notes. Crews welcomed the changes, calling them a long overdue step forward. After multiple European start points, drivers now face snowy mountain conditions before the rally concludes with the legendary Turini Loop. The winner will be crowned overnight on 6th to 7th February in Monaco. The Monegasque Red Cross hosted a 3-day blood donation campaign from February the 3rd, aiming to recruit new donors from the local population. With Monaco consuming more blood than it collects, the drive addressed an ongoing shortfall. Held at the Red Cross Training Hall, the initiative welcomed many first-time donors, including Police Academy students inspired by a recent awareness session. Donors followed a structured process, including a health questionnaire, doctor's consultation, and a quick nurse-administered blood draw. Last year, 63 donations were recorded during the campaign, 41 of them from first-time donors. With 5,000 units needed annually in the Principality, organisers hope this momentum helps increase regular participation and secures Monaco's vital blood supply. The Museum of Prehistoric Anthropology is hosting Magic from Elsewhere, an evocative exhibition exploring magical rites and beliefs from across the globe. Open until December, it features over 100 rare objects from sub-Saharan Africa, Asia, and Oceania, many bearing visible traces of ritual use. The exhibition sheds light on how different cultures communicate with the spiritual world through shamans, healers, and priestesses. Objects on display include voodoo figures, secret society masks, and a shut-your-mouth talisman designed to silence enemies. Through these sacred artifacts, once considered alive and powerful, the exhibition invites visitors to reflect on the unseen dimensions of human belief and the enduring need to bridge the visible and invisible worlds. Ahead of the upcoming Winter Olympic Games, Milan hosted the 145th session of the International Olympic Committee on the 3rd and 4th of February. Key discussions included preparations for the Youth Olympic Games in Dakar and the Los Angeles Olympics. During the session, His Serene Highness Prince Albert II, in his role as President of the IOC's Sustainability and Legacy Commission, presented the 2025 Climate Action Awards. The initiative recognizes athletes, federations, and national Olympic committees for their proactive efforts in addressing climate change. The Milan Cortina Games organizers were also commended for their environmental commitment. The session underlined the Olympic movement's growing focus on sustainability as an essential pillar of sport's future. The Roca team suffered a heavy 104-87 defeat away to Žalgiris Kaunas on Tuesday, February 3rd, conceding a fourth straight European loss. Overwhelmed by the host's intensity in a sold-out Zalgirio arena, Monaco never recovered from a disastrous first quarter, which ended with the Lithuanians firmly in control. Despite brief flashes of improvement, Žalgiris maintained their grip through strong defense and efficient scoring. The result underlined Monaco's current struggles and the challenge ahead as they look to regain momentum in the closing stages of the regular season. The Roca team fell to a 91-82 defeat away to FC Bayern Munich in the EuroLeague regular season on the evening of Thursday, February 5th. Monaco remained competitive early on, trailing by just 1 point after the first quarter, but a sluggish second period allowed the host to take control heading into halftime. Despite a brief resurgence after the break that narrowed the gap, Bayern responded with composure in the final quarter to see the game out, marking another loss on the road for the Monegasques as the regular season reaches a decisive stage. Next up, our exclusive interview with the personalities making the Principality.
My name is Mark Mead Bailey. I'm the founder and co-director of Demedville here in Monaco. I'm from San Francisco, California. I'm from a media family. My father was involved in sports media in San Francisco, and his father was Hugh Bailey, who was the chairman and president of the United Press back in the war days. And he interviewed some very significant people whose names I shan't share, but he does have a Wikipedia page. I started in school in San Francisco in the public school system. And when I became 9 years old, my parents wanted to take me out of the public school system and put me in a private school. So I went to a school, an Episcopal school, called Cathedral School for Boys in San Francisco. And this was a good stepping stone because it enabled me at a young age to get a good education such that I could go to boarding school. That was another stepping stone to get into a great university, the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. And I graduated from there with a degree in business because my interest was focused towards economics. And I ended up being a banker. In about 1959, 1960, 1961, I was a little boy, and we had a television in our house in San Francisco. And I think everybody probably says the same story. The first thing they learned about Monaco was the Formula One race. There was no cable TV yet. There was no satellite anything. One day I'm watching this, and I'm looking at this automobile race, and they said, the way the Americans say it, it's the Grand Prix of Monaco, which I thought was very cute. But I did not know where Monaco was. I thought it was an island in the middle of this Mediterranean or near Spain or something. Then some more years go by, and a film comes out in 1966, directed by John Frankenheimer, called Grand Prix, starring Yves Montand, Eva Marie Saint, James Garner. And a friend of mine, who was a junior race car driver, said, we have to go to the movies, you have to see this movie. And it was in CinemaScope on a widescreen in downtown San Francisco, and the first 30 minutes are all Monaco in color with cameras mounted on the cars. This had never happened before. And I watched this and I said, one day I'm gonna go to this place. Over the 1980s and the 1990s, I visited Monaco frequently. I would always vacation here. People thought I was crazy. They say, why don't you go anywhere else? I say, I love Monaco. Every time I go there, I meet more people. My networking was expanding. I was introduced by a dear friend to a man whose name is Gaurav Sotania, who's the founder and director of Challenger Stone for some 25 years here in Monaco. And my friend said, you need to meet this guy. He does the same thing you do. And following that, I came back a year later and we had a formal meeting in the Café de Paris. And we went through my website, and Gaurav Sotania looks at me and he says, you do all this website financial work. This is great work, but you don't charge anybody. You don't have any subscribers. I said, no, I just do it because I like to do it. And he says, let's form a Monaco company and we're gonna monetize what you do. Let me explain to you what de Medeville is. It's a website that presents financial analytics on what to me are the most important markets. I developed these analytics for de Medeville, and they are unique. You won't find my analytics, to my knowledge, on any website anywhere in the world. We all have the same data. I mean, you have the bond market, you've got the euro, the price opens, it has a high, it has a low, it has a close. But it's how you take that data, historically analyze it, and present it in a different graphical form than anybody has ever seen. And when you look at it this way, you'll say, wow, that makes sense. I've never seen the market look like this through this methodology. So that's what de Medeville is. The S&P 500 right now, and as has been the case really through much of last year and this year, is excessively overvalued based on its earnings generation. I know people in Monaco who are at very high level financial positions, and we're all waiting for a significant move down in the market. So equities right now, I look at them as dangerous. People say, what's the safe place to be? The old line is cash is king. Gold has gotten very high. It's a little overextended. The famous Richard Russell once said, there's never a bad time to buy gold. But I would wait to buy gold. I think being in cash now is smart. The dividend yield in the S&P 500, because the prices have gotten so high, is down to about 1%. You can get 4% without the risk in the US Treasury market. So why stay in the stock market? You risk losing your capital, you get no yield. But in the bond market, you know you get 4%, and when the instrument expires, you know you get your money back. I was diagnosed with lymphoma, which is a blood cancer. It was the Hodgkin's variety. And I went to Princess Grace. So all during 2023, I went through sessions of chemotherapy. The medical staff, the doctors, the nurses, all the team at Princess Grace were absolutely magnificent. Everybody was nice, everybody was patient. The treatment was done such that I never really felt ill the whole time. I was tired a lot, but they made me relax. I'm staying as fit as I can and as young as I can.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching News.MC, your English rendezvous on Monaco Info. Discover the full interview and more stories on our websites, News.MC and MonacoInfo.com. Next week, we will receive Lucas Dubois, President of the Jeune Chambre Économique de Monaco for 2026. This show is intended to provide a summary of the past week's top stories for the English-speaking audience. For daily and real-time news updates in English, please visit NEWS.MC and subscribe to our free daily newsletter. For French news, visit monacoinfo.com. This show was brought to you by Monaco Legend Properties.